Technical difficulties already.
That's just sometimes that's how it goes, brother.
Hey, hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to the Houston Millennial Podcast. You are watching a brand new episode of Millennial Mondays. I am your host, Jill Valentine.
Good morning, everyone. Millennial Mondays. My name is Ivan Sanchez, your co-host today, and we have a very special guest, not only a gentleman that challenged the entire political system of Texas, a former candidate for Congress here in the House. I lost audio. Can anybody hear me?
Guys,
I can still hear you great.
give it
You can
up.
still hear me
I can
great.
still
Oh,
hear
I'm
you
so
great.
sorry. I lost audio. Regardless, a former NAACP president of Brazoria, Mr. Eugene Howard. How are you?
Man, look, the way you introduced me, you made me sound like I'm, somebody of importance. I'm just a little old somebody, but I am great. It is a gloomy day outside, but it is a very energetic, prosperous, bright day inside. So, brother, it's great to be here, and thank y'all for having me.
It's great to have you.
And let's do this. 10-second elevator pitch. Who are you?
I am Eugene Howard. I am a seventh generation Texan, son of a Union soldier who fought for people like me and you and a lot of people tuning in to be free. And right now, our freedom is at stake. So if you agree with me, please follow me on my social media platforms, Visionary Howard, Eugene Howard, and you can find me, Google my name, and thank you. And the fight for freedom is right now.
That boy said, Google me.
The welcome from the entire organization. Big welcome. We appreciate having you on our live podcast here, Houston Millennial headquarters.
Correct, at GalaWorks. And by the way, we have this podcast every Monday. We haven't been here in about 2 weeks because of the Stros, and we got invited to host Gilbert Garcia's podcast in 5 radio stations last time. And by the way, he's one of our sponsors. But how about them Stros, right?
Yes.
Man, how about them Stros?
We were actually, our correspondent and host was at the parade. So check this out.
With Houston Millennials celebrating the big win for the Houston Astros World Championship. Come check it out with me.
Yeah, it's the name.
What do you feel about the Astros winning the World Championship?
Unbelievable! I feel like we're just getting started, baby. Anybody seen nothing? Go Astros!
My dad came back from California the day that he came back, the Astros won.
I know you don't wanna rumble with the Astros. They gon' show you how to hit a home with a home. If you don't really want it,
Fun.
That was fun.
Go Stros! Man, that was something else. The Houston Millennials gang and leadership was there. I actually marched the parade, Eugene. Can you believe that? I marched it with
look, I saw you on TV. I said, hey, man, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Jackson Lee, Congressman Jackson Lee, and Orlando James was there too. We were all supposed to walk together. Unfortunately, the gang split, but it was great. But however, Houston Millennials, a lot of people wonder what Houston Millennials is. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Houston Millennials is a nationally awarded organization that promotes millennial advancement.
That's right.
We push each other to positions of power, the public, private, and nonprofit sector. So how do we do this? How do we push an entire generation forward, Eugene? How do we do this? We do this through 7 standing committees that represent the most important aspects of a millennial's life or a person's life in general. That's a business committee, politics committee, in which Eugene's going to join here pretty soon. We got the community service committee. We got the women's committee. We have the health and fitness. We have the executive council. And now I know I'm forgetting one more. But through all these 7 committees, we host 36 annual events divided into them with 4 levels of membership. And now we have 9,200 members.
Yay. Yes. So
Big
are we going
things,
to check
man.
out another event? Are we going to take it?
Everybody say Millennial on 3. 1, 2, 3. You're very hard work.
Ah, so cool.
Shabam! How about them apples? You saw that? That was actually the Mill of Means. It was a Millennial Millionaire Fireside Chat where we brought 5 young millionaires out to speak and inspire the crowd, in which, by the way, the last networking event, in which our networking events are not boring. Eugene's been there.
They're not at
Yeah.
all.
They're called
So much fun.
Millennials After Dark Professional Networking.
Awesome. When's the next
The
one?
next one is this Friday, and it's probably the last networking event for Houston Millennials for this year, since we're probably gonna have a gala. But this Friday, the 18th, we're going to have Millennials After Dark Professional Networking at Toke Event Space, where it's a badass place because it's like when you come in, Joanne, have you ever been to Toke, by the way?
Yes, I've been there once.
Right? You come in and it's a big wide open space. It looks like an Apple store. And then in the other side, it's like an old school pub looking location with darts, with shuffleboards, with all kinds of different things. So
I think about them old 90s movies when you go to like a dive bar and you see like, no, it's real. It's a cozy, big feeling next to an open room. It's dope.
yeah. So it's actually 2 vibes, 1 location.
Nice. Where's it located?
It's right here in the Galleria, right next to Maggie's in Post Oak and Westheimer. You can actually go to www.2vibes.eventbrite.com to get your tickets now.
Nice. It starts at 6 p.m. and it ends when?
6 to 9, but you know, it is
Yeah.
Millennials After Dark.
I
So
was gonna
whoever
say.
wants to stay can stay for a little longer and enjoy some drinks and enjoy some very good companies with young politicians, lawyers,
Cool.
doctors, students. There is absolutely no dress code because we don't want to say no to the future Mark Zuckerbergs and all that. Come on in, everybody.
Indeed.
Everybody's welcome. I don't care if you
Touche.
sagging old jeans or you actually suit and tied like me. Come on by.
Yes, I can't wait to see all of you this Friday, November 18th, guys, for another Millennial After Dark professional networking. And all right, it's time, guys, to put our guests on the spot with our weekly 10 lightning round questions. Are you ready? Ivan, tell Mr. Howard the rules.
So, my friend, we're doing this as a little icebreaker. We asked 10 questions
Okay.
in a lightning speed. And you're not supposed to really think about it much. You got less than 5 seconds, probably like less than 10 seconds to answer every single one of these questions. Okay?
Woo, okay, are you
Fast.
ready?
All
Okay,
right,
number
all right.
one.
Jill, take it away.
As per your experience, who has given you more unnecessary attitude?
In life,
Yeah, man.
5 seconds.
family.
Oh,
awesome.
jeez.
Okay, second one. Is there a mistake you made in the past that you wish you could change?
Yes, not trying to play football.
Oh, okay, cool. Number 3. Which celebrity would you like to date?
I've always had a crush on Megan Good, so Megan Good is
Oh, nice.
like my
Okay.
celebrity thing. I'll never
So-
meet her, so
What you mean you'll never meet her?
Well,
I will
no,
get
you're
to
right.
that later, man. You're a
If
congressman.
you were invisible, who would you spy on?
ah,
5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, the president.
Oh, that's a good
snappies.
one. Okay, if you were to write an autobiography, what would it be called? What would be the title?
The fighter that never quits.
Okay, moving on.
There we go.
The
There we
fighter
go.
that never quits. I like that.
I like that as well. All right, we got 5 more questions here left. And by the way, everybody, this is not a nonpartisan. This is a bipartisan organization. Republicans, Democrats, everybody welcome. Whoever's paying attention to millennials, whoever's supporting the millennial generation, that's who we roll with. All right,
There it is.
let's go. If you were stuck in an elevator with any president of the United States in an elevator, well, who would it be and what would be the first thing you tell him? Or her. Or no, him. Well,
It was only been
unfortunately.
a him, unless you say vice president. Oh, that's easy. Jack Kennedy.
Okay.
What would you say?
I would say, why did you go with the topless convertible in Dallas?
I don't know if that's all right.
You asked the question.
All right. What was the last song you downloaded?
You know, homecoming. Beyonce homecoming. TSU's
that's a
homecoming.
good
So I
song.
There you go.
yeah.
All right. Do you prefer to talk on the phone or text?
Text.
Boom. No questions asked. You drink coffee?
Oh, every morning. That's my gas.
How many cups? How many cups?
I'm just one, and sometimes I can't finish it because I have a little ritual coffee, my supplements, and then my protein, and then gym. So by the time I've done all that,
It's something else. Oh, that's nice. All right. Last question. What does see you at the top mean to you?
we started from the bottom. Now we're here. I think that's what that means. That means no matter where you start from, we're gonna see each other at that top.
Ooh, I love that
That's
answer.
Nice.
Okay,
nice.
so that was our 10 questions.
That was pretty cool. We got to know him a little bit. But this show has been brought to you by Gilbert Garcia with Garcia Hamilton and Associates. So we'll be right back.
Yeah, shout out to our sponsor.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 to 12. And I just want to say, Houston Millennials, you rock.
All right, and we're back with our very special guest. Give it up, everybody. Woo! Eugene Howard.
Yes.
So, oh my God. So you just ran for Congress.
I did.
Oh my God. So you ran for Congress as well. So you both have that in common.
I'm trying to live up to that man over there, man. That boy's a
I'm
good
trying-
dude over
when I
there.
grow up, I'm trying to be like him.
So did you guys meet through that quest, or
Well,
how did you guys meet?
I actually met Ivan at a Millennial event. I was campaigning, and I walked in, and I knew a couple people that was affiliated with the organization, and when Ivan came in, it was just like this ball of energy and youthfulness.
Definitely.
And he'll tell you when you're on the campaign trail, it's not a lot of youthfulness. You don't get to vibe out a lot. It's a lot of mundane, boring, give me coffee so I stay awake kind of meeting. So when you get to be energetic, be yourself, be with your generation, it's great. So that's how I met him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, did you run in 2018 as well?
I didn't run for the seat. I not big boys. In 18, I ran for a local school board. I'm sorry, that was 17. I ran for school board. 18, I was getting the NAACP going.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. So you ran several times. I didn't know about that. So,
Oh,
ladies and
wow.
A
gentlemen,
lot of people don't.
this is amazing, and this is something that we all can learn, because the thing is that power is taken and never given.
Mhm.
And something that Eugene, a person like myself, and the Houston Millennials, we are launching our campaigns because we want to represent, we want to bring the new vision of millennials. And it's very we love our baby boomers and everything that they did for us, but at the same time, thank you, we'll take it over from here.
I'm glad you said that, because that's one thing I was going to, a couple friends asked me, like, man, how you get to it's so cool, because they see the events, they see us post, and they wanted to know what I was going to say. Well, we're going to talk about parties, and I said we probably will, but one thing I do want to say, I know it's nonpartisan. With that being said, millennials,
Bipartisan, so you're good.
Okay, well, here we go. So look, here in Texas, if you don't like what's going on, like you said, power is never given, it's taken. You see what's going on. And what I mean by that is they are not accounting for the millennial and the Gen Z vote or participation, even with redistricting. So please, I understand that our grandparents and our parents would be the ones that do it, but it is up to us. I am the oldest millennial, that generation. So, we can buy their homes, but if we keep going down this path, we have to fight. We have to fight. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, I want you to engage. If you're 40 and under, engage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the thing is that, the millennial generation now is the largest voting bloc the world has ever seen.
But we got to use our power, man. We didn't in just these past midterms. We were the lowest block.
We
that
were
turned
we
out.
were actually accounted for 17% of the entire vote. 17, and we're
Wow.
more than 50% of
the population
here in Houston or Harris County.
So quick math, that's more than 30% of us didn't vote. Just
Wow.
quick math. I mean, it's more than that, but at least 30%. That's way
It's
too big of a
huge.
number.
It's-
That number is, if we can party, if we can get these final clothes, if we can post and model
Sure.
and do it, we can get engaged, because none of that's going to matter when they take your freedoms away.
Oh my God.
I was just a judge at this beauty contest last night, But last week, I got to ask every single contestant about voting, if they voted. I put them all in the hot seat. They didn't know.
I'm
Mhm.
They
glad you
didn't know a
did that.
political nerd like me was coming, right? And this was a Miss Belleza Mexico and Internacional. So it was in Spanish. So I told them a little bit, how do we get the Latino vote out, blah, blah, blah. But let's switch that question around, right,
Mhm.
Eugene? What do you think that must be done for us to actually get the vote out?
Okay, great question.
Mhm.
So first of all, we need to start yesterday for the 24 cycle and the 26 cycle. We can't go into these years. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of, and Ivan, you can attest to this, there's a lot of groundwork that goes into any and every individual campaign. And unfortunately, whether it be financially or structurally or organizationally, we're not the strongest group when it comes to politics. So what we have to do is engage, engage, engage. Again, when we have these parties, we need to have voter registration be a requirement to come party. Are you registered to vote? Even if you pay for, we have to make it that important, because if we don't, it slides by the wayside. And if people don't know, since we're the Houston Millennials, I wanted to say I hope one day we can get the greater Houston Millennials, because there's so many areas that touches Houston, but that are not engaged with, because they don't feel like, well, that's just them over there. I'm stuck in this red country. I'm stuck in this hick town. I'm stuck in this part of the city that doesn't want to be progressive. But it takes a movement. And if we engage, again, like I said yesterday, start telling people, are you registered? Because we know Texas is the hardest place to vote in the United States of America. And that
Yes.
is not on accident.
Yeah, it's all designed.
It's all designed.
But I'm gonna make it hard for you, man.
Come on, come with it.
Because the thing is that we keep hearing the older generations, our beautiful generations, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
Wisdom.
boomers
Wisdom.
and the greatest generation and the Xers as well. People forget about the X. Yes, there is a generation
I
between the
used to
boomers
be
and millennials.
I used to be Gen X until like the millennials came, and then they moved the marker. Like all growing up, I was part of the Gen A. I was a 90s kid. So I was like, I'm 83 baby. So like it was, we heard Gen X, and then all of a sudden we woke up and they're like,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you're
you're
millennial.
definitely a millennial.
You actually celebrated your birthday not too long ago.
Yes,
Happy birthday.
I thank
your
you.
39th birthday.
30 last one in the 30s, baby.
But
That's
Eugene, what is engaging? Let's say,
Okay.
because hold on.
I'm ready. I'm
Hold on.
ready. I'm ready.
So the thing is that we have to get out of our nerdy political shoes. We have to talk to people that can give a damn about politics, right? It's like they call Latino population the sleeping giant. Oh, all you have to do is engage them. What does that even mean? They don't care about it, like they at the roots. So what is the engagement? Yes, at the events we do have voter registration, all these different things, but we're talking about millions of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will actually touch our hearts that will get out the vote? For example, in the women's, Roe versus Wade, all this happened, and I think that's why we saw there wasn't a red wave like expected. I'm a political
Of course.
scientist, and I thought there was gonna be a red wave,
I
but it
did
was like a
too.
little sprinkle, like little sprinkles, right?
Right. But I'm
Um,
glad you mentioned that, because that's I'm finna tie into that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
So what
the
will
little
have to?
trickle.
What is that thing in our generation that will piss us the hell off for us to finally get the hell out of the vote, regardless if you care about politics or not?
Excellent question.
You have to sell it as a freedom fight. And what I mean by that is whatever you hold dear at this moment, unless you're, and in due time, they're going to come after that generation too. And that these people I'm going to mention as well. But unless you're Anglo at this moment in time, you better engage. And what I mean by the engage is when people think of politics, they think about Ivan, boy, look how sharp you look. You look like money, baby. You look like a politician.
Hey.
Public servant.
But listen,
I'm
listen. That's the no. I'm glad you said that, brother, because the key is they don't see politicians as public servants. In our communities, they see, or our generation, they see politics or politicians as something removed. Because all we've heard growing up as millennials is the politicians rag on everything that we thought was cool growing up, whether it be our music, the way we dressed, the way we talked, the way we thought was all wrong. And that's why the millennials came and said, we're not doing it the way you did it, right? That was the big thing about the millennial thing. We're not going to go just get the house because we're going to go get the house. We're not just going to have a family. We want to be career people. Now, it's give and take, but that was what our generation of age groups, you had the baby boomers, you had the great generation, the Great Depression. Like Jack Kennedy said, every generation, very few generations are afforded the opportunity to defend freedom. Right now, the millennials, we have that opportunity, because if you don't understand Roe v. Wade, like you said, the Dobbs decision made sure that it energized a woman, whether you like politics or not. No one wants to. I have a daughter. No, I don't want anyone telling my daughter that, hey, you can't have an abortion. And better yet, I don't want some neighbor saying, if they think my daughter is pregnant, that they can call the police and the police come in my house and take my daughter from me because she's pregnant and they think she had an abortion. We haven't had that happen yet, but just wait. I guarantee any father with any grain of salt is not, Lord, don't let it be me. But I'm just saying, that is the world that we live in. And that's the things you have to sell. Because if they took the Dobbs decision, what's to stop them from taking every other freedom that we hold dear? I'm a black man. I am 2 amendments from the slave plantation again. 2. 1, 2. That's an easy sell to a millennial. Yo, while we ain't paying attention, we wasn't paying attention. Look, now we got to fight for your daughter to maybe she can't get one in Texas. And if they even found out that you went, they're going to put you in jail. That's the law right now. That's how you sell it. And you have to sell it that we are in the lion's den. The nation's laughing at Florida and Texas. That shit piss off the millennials. There's too many of us here. Over 30% of us didn't participate in this last election cycle. And that's what we have to do. We got to talk about these things as much as we can talk about J's, cars, Teslas, being fly, looking good, dancing good. Like, yo, all that can be gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. And the thing is, I think that we must. What what just happened is, to break it down, is that a bunch of men are regulating women bodies, and you know what the messed up thing would be? What if one day, and hopefully this part happens, that because I do agree that every boardroom, every location where there's important decisions being made, women should be at that table.
Yes.
Yes, for
It
sure.
should be and can I not use the catchword of diverse table? I want inclusive. I want inclusivity. I want to be included, that everyone that's at the table isn't a token head. Everyone at the table has an equal voice, equal say, equality, equity moving forward. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you for that. And that's why we invited you. You have very similar views as we do as an organization, like Ivan Sanchez. And as a millennial, I just want to say, I don't look at you guys as politicians. I see you guys as leaders. I'm truly inspired by the way you guys think. Equality, inclusiveness, that is so important.
I think that's the next. I mean, we're in the greatest country in the world. By the way, I am a capitalist. We were
I believe
born.
in that.
We were born in Colombia, right? A capitalist country, where it offered everything except for the basic necessity of safety. Came here, we built absolutely everything from scratch, eating arroz y frijoles every single day, when we used to live in a freaking 4-story home in Colombia. And it was crazy because when we immigrated here, my mama just said, let's go see Mickey Mouse. I'm like, oh, I bet. When I was 6 years old, and we landed, I saw the entire freaking struggle from scratch. And here we are again. My brothers, one runs a bank now, the other one has more than 600 properties. I'm the one that decided to go into social experiments, into um, learning, or actually mobilizing an entire social pattern of a city, which is very challenging. But we are here again. And something that I do have to just kind of put my brakes on a little bit since I am a capitalist. What I am against is hyper predatory greed.
Oh yes.
And I believe that a lot of our fibers, every fiber of every industry has been attempted to be exploited,
Okay.
right? And the most in your face type of example that I can give, and a lot of people still don't understand this, and this is why we got to be a little political active. Just because you're not interested in politics
They
doesn't
interested
mean
in
that
you.
politics is not interested in you, right?
There it is.
So something that really pissed me off is private prisons.
Oh,
Stop
wow.
that, brother.
So the thing is, yes,
That's for
I'm all
profit.
for business capitalism, but hyper predatory greed, which goes into tuition, into healthcare, and the easiest thing to explain to y'all what hyper predatory greed can do is through the example of private prisons. So imagine that there's a corporate identity. There is my friend, or not even a friend, because I wouldn't even call him a friend by then, but let's say Pepito number X, he is gonna invest $1 million into a prison as a business.
As a
And
business.
what is the business model of a prison? What the hell is that, right? Out of all the things that the government controls, they're gonna give the private sector this keys, in which as an investor you want more prisoners. The more prisoners,
The
the
more
more
money you
bang on
make.
your on the buck, and that creates a demand for prisoners. Hence billions of dollars are pumped into psychoanalytic type of variables on how to get more people in jails. Hence that's why my homeboys, yes, my homeboys from high school, they're in jail. They got caught with weed 3 times, and
Three
they're
strikes
off.
you out.
They're off 20 years, 15 years
That's
off
that
in
Clinton
jail.
administration. That's that three strikes, that crime bill, boy. I tell you, huh?
Hey, and it's both parties.
Is there very much a reason why I stated that?
And so this is what is one of the biggest problems, I think, because again, you can hate in the United States all you want, saying, "Oh, it's to this, it's to that," and I do firmly believe it's the best freaking country in the world, hands down. But it does, like I think it was AB that said, it's an imperfect union, and we still have to make it a
Strive
more
for
perfect.
perfection. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have a question from
Let's get it.
Houston Millennials Leadership. Brittany Juarez wants to know, what is your educational background, Mr. Eugene Howard?
I went to Texas Southern University.
Okay.
Go Tigers, Ocean of Soul.
Yay.
I was teaching in a classroom at special needs in Fort Bend in Houston Independent School District, and HISD, Houston Independent School District. And I mean, I'm very simple. I believe that one thing that time has shown us now is true leadership. Sometimes experience goes further than there's a lot of smart people making dumb
Mhm.
decisions.
Okay, so you have taken many roles in your life. You're an activist, a political leader. You are also a musician and a minister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Preach on, brother.
Appreciate you, Doc. I love Jesus. Now look. Speaking of that, my only blind allegiance is the Christ. I said that on
Nice.
the trail. No offense to anyone else, but that's just me.
So I was doing my research on you when I
Love
said
the drums.
young journalist. So that got me wondering, what is your favorite role out of all those things that you do?
Out of all those things, I mean, my favorite would probably be a musician.
Oh, nice.
I mean, not my most purposeful one, right? You said my favorite.
Yeah, it's
so
your favorite.
it's my first love. As far as something that you fall in love with, even before sport. I grew up in a family. My mom's she's a minister, but she's a singer, pianist. I grew up in a family of singing and musicians. Music. I can't help but move. Like we could be hearing and someone would be talking. I hear a song and be like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh man, I just can't help it."
Cool. Okay, so do you have anything to sing live for us?
Oh no,
I'm
not a
just
singer,
kidding.
not a singer. Now listen, you
You're
can
a
Google
musician.
me.
You just play the piano?
I played the drums. I
Okay.
was one of the drummers for Janet Jackson when she had her malfunction in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Wait,
on here.
when the
When
movie
the
came
movie
out?
came out, man,
When the
I was
movie came out.
as close as I am to where you guys can't
Oh
see
my
it. So about
goodness.
3 feet. So as close as I am to for us here to this computer is how far I was. But she was about uh 6 feet in the air. So I was kind of looking up because they had the stage rotating. But oh yeah,
Hey, I have a question
sure.
because you said I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
Right.
Why you scared?
Well, I ain't scared. I know when it comes to people's religious beliefs, I just my thing is with my Christianity, my belief doesn't depend on how you feel about me. It just depends upon how I make you feel and how I treat you. So it ain't that if I did offend you, pray to your God and get over it. But my point is in my religion and my belief and my walk with Christ, I just I want to try to do right, and I want to lead by example. That's what he did.
And that brings me, I thought for a second why I asked that is because right now there's something called cancel culture,
Oh,
Right.
jeez. Yes, there is.
in which it's coming
Right now,
from,
they going for Kyrie and Yee. I mean, we can talk if you want to
But you
talk.
are not being canceled at all.
and it's
because
but it's coming from our side of the aisle.
I'm listen. I'm look. I'll say this again. The Republicans do not have a monopoly on racism. I will repeat. The
Yeesh.
Republicans do not have a monopoly on racism, on bigotry, on stupid ass ideology.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's clear. I'm liberals include. Look. When you in the trenches, and for all of us, Ivan, you've been in the trenches. I know you do the studying of those, and I'm pretty sure you're in the trenches as well. You know who's which and who ain't.
yes.
We know who watching and ain't liking. You watching every story I post, but you don't like it, you don't comment. I know what time it is. So when the rubber meet the road, I ain't looking for you. I need somebody that's gonna ride, even if we take a loss. I rather Alamo this thing than run with I die on my feet than live on my knees.
And we definitely want you on our side because people like Rob the General are calling you a superhero. How do you feel about that?
I think Rob's just being nice. My thing is I do appreciate that some of the older statesmen. I'm a big Rob. I mean, I listen to Rob G going to high school in the
Yeah.
morning. Like, that was just the Mad Hatter show. Like, for us local people, that was the thing. Before 97, 93.7, it was just 102, 97.9, 90.9. Those are the three channels you could really get. And
Yeah.
so like that meant everything. And for him to think that the work that I'm doing, it ain't because I have muscles or I'm
No, exactly. It's
it's
the
the
way you
work.
get engaged.
and that's what really matters. And I believe that we need more Avengers around here, especially in Texas.
Well,
in
I totally
Texas.
agree with Rob the General because not that many people will stand for what's right. So, what led you to wanting to reactivate the NAACP?
Well,
First of all, what is the
the
NAACP?
NAACP,
Please.
great question. The NAACP stands for, it is an acronym for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It is the eldest or oldest civil rights organization in American history. Most of the rights that we afford as minorities and as people that are not Anglo descent in this country comes from wins in the Supreme Court for this very organization,
Mhm.
including others. But this was the first one to get the major win to shake up the establishment with the Brown versus the Board of Education, which integrated schools and so forth and so on.
And how did you get into reactivating it? I know you were the former president. What pushed you to want to get involved?
Where I lived, I had just had my daughter. We had just moved to Missouri County, and I just had my daughter, and we were getting ready for work. And the news had said a young black girl went missing from the campus of the middle school. And at the time, my eldest daughter was going to the school, and uh, I was like, it's just one of the things you make a mental note, like, dang, that's something I'm gonna be on the lookout. This is kind of like my community area. And then I didn't hear anything, and I watch the news every day faithfully now, but I didn't hear anything. And 3 days later, they reported that she had just got an Uber to the rodeo back when Uber first started, before it was a main tool and people didn't, she Ubered herself to downtown to go to the rodeo. And the news thought it was a feel good story, but it pissed me off. I'm like, why the hell did it take 3 days for you to tell us about what happened to this little black girl in Brazoria County. Because if her name was Susan and she had blonde hair and blue eyes, it'd have been on the 3 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news, the 5 o'clock news, the 9 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, the 5 a.m. the next day. It would have been nonstop coverage. And that let me know there was a void and a need for my people and people of color in that community. And when I looked around, there was no NAACP. There was no organization with the teeth, with the gall, with the tenacity that you can take a pawn and have your back that you can go fight these white folks with. And that's why I did it.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Incredible story.
I mean, that's just why I started the NAACP. But yeah, it goes deeper than that. Like, my generation, I come from, like he said in my spiel, my great grandfather, Primus and Paul Thompson, were Union soldiers. They fought with Ulysses
wow.
Grant when they came in
Wow.
and freed Texas. My family settled here in 1871 in new territory. Well, of course, Jim
Wow.
Crow South took our land away, but that's why we're in talks with the Commissioner's Court in Fort Bend County to try to get our grave acknowledged, our burial sites, and to try to get some of our land recouped, or if not, the compensation for what was taken from my family. But we came here and they fought. And a lot of people, when the rubber meet the road, they go tell and run. But I think about the inspiration of Paul and Primus. Them dudes never met me. Didn't know what I was going to look like. Didn't even know if I was going to be here. Didn't know if the world was going to even still be in existence. But they said on some day in 1866 that, you know what? To hell with this. We're going to fight. And we're going to fight till we die, because we're going to be the last ones that living in these chains. That's why I like wearing these my bracelets and my chains, because it's a choice. I can take them off whenever the hell I want to. But I want to always be constantly reminded of my grandparents saying, you know what? One day they said, you know what, Paul, son, I don't know if they had even spoke good English, but I know they said this ain't gonna happen no more. And that's
Boom.
why I'm saying right now in today's time, this is our generation's moment. That was 170 years ago. And without them, so where are we gonna be 170 years from now? I want my great grandkids to say, Papa was about that action.
Hey.
Papa was
Hey.
about that life. I want them to say that. I was quoted in the New York Times last week when I said it was white fear, white backlash. So I want my family to know we come from a lineage of fighting these boys. And as long as they want to fight, we're going to take the fight to them. And I wish we can get more millennials and more people engaged to understand, just because you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So just because you're not voting, you are voting by not voting. And that's what they're counting on. If you listen to the Republican pundits, right, they're fussing. Oh, it has to do with early voting. Now it's they want to come for souls of the polls. These Democrats, not that your policies suck, not that you're telling women you can't control your body and they don't want to vote for you. You got to come after other freedoms that we fought for. Wake up, people.
Boom. Man, that's something, but I want to kind of not change this. By the way, we are a bipartisan organization. We will have
I have
some
Republican
amazing
friends too.
Republicans
I love
here talking to us. We are just openly talking to Eugene Howard, a former
Mhm.
congressional
I'm a Democrat.
candidate.
So
Yeah,
just
he's a
and
Democrat.
so that's why it's a Democratic. But I believe in, my only blind allegiance is to Jesus.
And so, but how about this? Back in the 80s, with Mickey Leland, our former congressman that
Yes.
tragically passed away, going
the
to
plane.
feed some souls over, I forgot what
I believe it
country
was
in
in
Africa
Haiti.
or something like that.
Something.
Or I'm not sure if it was like, regardless, it was a tragic accident that happened. But back in the day, there was actually a black and brown coalition. And somehow I think it diluted through the years. Um, and I see you as my brother.
I do too.
What do you think that must happen for our um our ethnicities
To build a great, powerful
to do it
coalition.
again? I know that there's probably some resentment and people have some probably some legitimate reasons back in the day, but like that's the beautiful thing about the new wave coming in
It's new direction.
of
new
us coming in,
yes.
because we're not, we don't have so much bullshit in our head, so much politics, so much things going on. But what do you think that, let's say, when is the last time? And I know I've seen the NAACP and LULAC work together, in which LULAC is basically the Hispanic NAACP.
Right.
But what do you think? What must be done for our great ethnicities to build that bridge again?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the bullshit, right? I'm gonna give you the the great answer, then I'm gonna give you the raw answer. So the BS answer is, we got to come together, right? And we have more things that we agree upon than we disagree upon, right? And for us, the new generation, we have to be willing to give and take on some things that our parents may not have been wanting to move, or grandparents more so than parents wouldn't want to move on. Some ways of thinking, some stereotypical things that were inbred and indoctrinated into them as kids, that they can't let go of. Those people are dying off. So now, we have Google. Like I said,
Mhm.
Google me, Google them, you can Google some information now. It's at the tip of your, fingertips. So that's the BS answer. Now, the real answer, the raw answer is, my enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because I don't care, um, where you fall, self preservation is above all. And if we don't realize that one group for the history of this place has put other groups, and this ain't even politics, we're talking about ethnicities now, cultures, has put them against each other and had us fight while they get all the resources and get all the things. That's how we keep divided. That's a big issue now, because what's happened is white folks won't deal with black folks. Not too typically. I'm speaking from experience. I'm a black man who live in America. Trust me, I lost to I know what I'm dealing with. But for whatever reason, this is something maybe you can attest to, Ivan. They are more willing to cross those aisles with the Hispanic community as they're trying to make inroads. So again, we have to cut that off, man. We have to really, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because if we start with that foundation, we can build the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the friendship that we like. Think about this. In World War II, everybody ain't America. Everybody ain't Britain. Everybody ain't New Zealand, right? But one thing they all had to come in is, if we all don't come together, those boys over there gonna take us all out. And right now, when you look at the way things are going, why did a lot of these things happen? Even more so than politically, it's culturally. Culture wars is the new thing. Culture wars ain't about Republican, Democrat. That's more like black, brown. Black and brown people coming to take everything. I don't know if you saw the racist ad that, one of those Stephen Miller dudes dropped. It. When is it okay to be racist against white people? Like, I'm like, what world am I living? But if we don't educate ourselves and our kids and let those things take manifest, we can never build that bridge. And I think that's where we have to start.
Yeah.
Self-preservation, baby. And we can do, I was gonna say something that's gonna make me sound really bad. So, but one thing is, I would say, me living in Texas, is I've embraced the Hispanic culture, like food. I mean, I've known
I love
your
my
community.
arroz and frijoles, by the way.
But,
I was not
I
meaning
know,
to throw that under
sometimes
the
you catch
bus.
yourself, because how somebody can video clip that for later on, but like, look what he said about you. So I said, let me catch that. But what I mean is it's been something that I've only known, to be honest with you. If we want to talk about ethnicities, and I know Houston is so diverse now. Growing up here, speaking of the 80s, it was just us two here. It was just a lot of black and browns, and it was Hispanics and blacks that was together. And then, of course, people came and we became this melting pot. But I think we have to fight for self-preservation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. But we have questions from our viewers for Mr. Eugene Howard.
Great.
Thank you so much for being here once again. From Chipilio Lot, he wants to know, what is your biggest influence
In life.
in activism?
Oh, in my activism. Oh, that's easy. My biggest activism, my biggest influence is Dr. King. But if I had to bunch it up, it'd be Dr. King and Malcolm.
Nice. Okay.
Sword and the shield.
We have another question from Judge Angela Rodriguez. What is your advice for someone who has fear speaking in front of crowds? How does a young millennial
Ooh,
find her
nice.
voice?
Shout out to the judge, by the way.
Oh, yes. So, Judge, what you have to do is, take a deep breath and look. And if you're a person of faith, people don't know this, but speaking of which, if you're watching I'll be on Isaiah tonight. I just
nice.
confirmed while we was in this interview. So
Hey.
check it out. We'll be talking about the racist teacher on the campus. But
Oh my
breathing,
God, I
yeah,
saw that
yeah,
clip, bro.
yeah. So we'll be
Oh
talking
my
about
God.
yeah. I can't wait to dig into that. But what you have to do is, say a quick prayer and get your mantra, get you in your soft space. And it's gonna sound silly. Go in front of the mirror and practice looking at yourself,
Mm.
because what you want to do is develop your mannerisms. Like, I talk with my body, but that's because I've seen myself. I've been a minister since I was 13. So I've seen preachers do this, and I've seen people get in front. But if you don't do that, you have to train muscle memory. And look, you're gonna look stupid, you're gonna feel stupid, but you're gonna get better when you get in public.
Every time.
Yeah, I can attest to that, man. I've what-
Didn't you feel silly the first time you looked at yourself in the mirror and you're trying to read it and you're not trying to be like,
but you got to get over yourself.
but that's what
It's
I
like,
said.
bruh, it's only you. Come on, just like do it. But I was saying, like, just to piggyback off what the judge was asking, is putting yourself out there and getting that experience. Because when I was recruited in to the United States Congress, working in the 18th Congressional District under the leadership of the
Lee.
Congresswoman, they didn't
Shout
know.
out to Congresswoman Lee now. Shout out to her. Give her
Yeah,
the-
no, for sure. A lot of, I guess they didn't do a lot of background check in the sense of I wasn't the best public speaker, and just
you had to grow into that
watching the
role.
congresswoman over and over, and then when she wasn't in town, I would be her mouthpiece, and they would send me everywhere. And
Hey,
I'd have done give probably
Can I-
1,000 speech.
Can I get throw a suggestion in? Because I've done this, and speaking of that, I'm glad you said that. You said watching her, YouTube is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Find your niche. Find whoever you like in tone and tonality, and you try to emulate that in the mirror or with yourself, right? So if you like, I mean, I don't want to use, the judge. I mean, whoever is inspirational speaking to you, whatever, however decorum that most suits you, I think that's a great way. Because Ivan's right. When you see it, it's a lot easier than to just manifest it if it doesn't come naturally.
But you got to find yourself too.
But that's what I'm saying.
'Cause
Find.
I'll never be the congresswoman, right? That man, that firecracker right there.
Oh yeah, she was bringing it too for this midterm. She was
Mhm.
bringing the heat.
It was I've done over 1,000 speeches for sure, and I know to learn because people are like, "You're so good and you look so confident." Just yesterday, I was in the big stage again, and I wrecked that thing. Like I
Right.
wrecked it.
I mean, you big time.
But then
we
how
know.
how did it happen? You know how it happened? I know for sure. I had did more than 300 walk of shames.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember at the Reliance Stadium in front of 50,000 people, it was a graduation. I had done mess it up. I was like, just closing remarks. I was just like, and the commendation of, and I
Oh man, you had one of those.
now
Oh,
usually I
damn.
would just sit down in front with all the principals and trustees. Man, I'd have done
Just walked on
leave,
out.
bro. Just leave. And it was over and over and over, feeling stupid, learning and learning because it's never just failing, it's learning. Like we didn't fail to run for Congress. We learned how to run for Congress.
Oh
We learned
yeah.
how to run for office. So we're prepared. For the
I'm
next
running
one.
again at 24, so you'll see my name on the ballot. If you want to find out, follow me, and love to have you on the team.
What is your Instagram and all your plugins?
My Instagram is Visionary Howard. Visionary Howard, one word. That's my IG. That's my Twitter. And then my Facebook is my name, Eugene Howard. EUGENE HOWARD.
All right. We have probably one or two more questions. I know I have one more question. I'm not sure about Jill,
Let's go.
but
I just have a question because I know you are a minister and you have something to say. You're a political leader. You do all these things trying to deliver a message. So what is your one message you have for the entire world, not just the nation? What is your message
For the world. Wow. Okay.
for the entire world?
Be steadfast. Be understanding. Be compassionate. Be willing to compromise. We all have to share the same space. You know what? We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. We all care about our children's futures. So I think we have to come together as a nation, as a world, and think about it that way.
Nice.
Beautiful said.
As the former president of NAACP Brazoria, as a former candidate for trustee, trying to run y'all's kids' education. He's sitting right here.
man.
That's what he's trying to do. Y'all probably don't even know. I mean, sorry, general
all
public
good.
probably don't know what a trustee is.
That's
a
the
lot of
school
things.
board member. That's the
For a
one who actually
person-
makes all the decisions.
For a person that tried to run this country, you try to run this country.
Yeah.
Running for Congress. That's what you're basically doing.
I'm a lawmaker. I'm still going to be a lawmaker. It's just,
This
little longer.
is a process.
Yeah.
Enjoy the process. What is next for you?
Again, my name will be on the ballot in 24. So that's what's next. I believe my goal is to help Texas seem more sensible and seem more reasonable and seem more logical and accepted for all people, and really be about that creed that all men and women are created equal with certain endowed rights by a creator.
Nice. Let's get one controversial questions. Do you have any guns?
Hell yeah, I'm a black man. What you mean? You run up in my house unannounced, I hope you made your good wills, because you ain't leaving. I promise you that.
Same here.
Hey, I ain't for that. Come take my gun now. And I'd be well said. Every black person should have a Winston a shotgun over the fireplace. We know what time it is.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I'm a shotgun lover. So
I mean,
have
come on now.
shotguns.
That shotty is stop him now.
I got the pump in the trunk.
Ooh.
Hey,
Hey, yeah. Pistol grip pump on his lap at all times. Now, that's what he's saying. Don't run up on that Tesla, y'all.
All right. So, time flies when you are having fun, and we are ending our program today. Is there any last words that you want to say to our viewers?
Yes, millennials, please. We talked a lot of things, but seriously, if you have any concern about the future of this community, Houston millennials, please engage, because we need your help, and we all need each other's help in the greater Houston area. I believe we can change the direction of this country and this state. And I'm talking about millennial thinking, millennial common sense. So please strive for that.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to close out the show. We are here with Eugene Howard, someone that is going to be running the country, the state, the city, the county, sooner or later. But we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, obviously GalaWorks, which is a co-working space for any young professional, for any professional. If you're a real estate agent, you're in medical, come over here. Office with Houston Millennials, dream with Houston Millennials. This is the GalaWorks office here, located in River Oaks and Galleria. So if you need some space, very affordable space, come out and dream with us.
It's nice. Even on a bad day, it's still nice.
Hey,
Even
that's
on
the
a bad
best.
day.
Also,
Gloomy
shout
day.
out to Gilbert Garcia with
Mr.
Garcia,
Garcia, thank
Hamilton
you.
and Associates for sponsoring this. And of course, please RSVP for our next networking event. It might be, most likely it'll be the final one of the year, Millennials After Dark Professional Networking. 2 Vibes, 1 location at Toke. You can get your tickets at 2vibes.eventbrite.com, or you can go to HoustonMillennials.com. And meanwhile, while you are at HoustonMillennials.com, you can also see our memberships, or if you want to become a vendor or a sponsor for Houston Millennials, it's all available at that website. So with that, everybody, we'll see you at the very top.
Dream with us. Office with Houston Millennials and GalaWorks for a place to hold a team meeting or a conference. Join a community of passionate young entrepreneurs in prime office space located at River Oaks and Galleria. Our co-working space is available for rent.